Hello, my lovers. I'm just realizing I think those are the first words that I've uttered this morning. And then when I just said the word utter, I just thought of like cow milking. I've been up since, I woke up briefly at 1, had a message. I forgot to message somebody back yesterday to tell them like I wouldn't be going out because I'm going to bed at 5 o'clock. But so I forgot to message this person back, and then they messaged again. I felt kind of bad. I was like, fuck a doodles. And they were like, and then it was like 1 o'clock, but their message was at like 9, basically, like, so I guess you're not coming out, whatever. And I was like, oh shit, I fell asleep. And then I fell asleep again. And then woke up again at like 3, and then they were like, it's still happening, come on out. And I'm like, that could have been an idea, except I went back to sleep. And now it's after 4. How are you all? What's happening? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone here. I'm MJ from All to Love. I am an empath, I'm an author, that's my book, and I am an intuitive introvert. I run an online lifestyle brand called All to Love, based on my spiritual awakenings and also just my heart love vibrashe of like, couldn't we solve a lot of issues if we actually like gave a us for one another instead of hating on one another, competing. I'm doing a lot of research for Unplug for Freedom, which is one of the All to Love Be the Change online courses. I also do intuitive reading, obviously, and online coaching. And I've been doing a lot of research for the writing of Unplug for Freedom, and it's hitting me hard, people. It's hitting me hard. I mean, isn't it funny when you intuitively are aware of stuff and then, you know, reading the articles, watching the documentaries, it just reminds me of like my perspective of like why I think the way I think, and that I feel intuition guided positive things. Like even one of my early insights when I was living in Vancouver around the early awakenings, I remember the insight was something simple like, don't do what they tell you to do and do what they tell you not to. And so yeah, I sort of broke out of the kind of like, I'm a good law-abiding citizen and I became a criminal. No, I did not. I did not become a criminal. But I did, at this time of my life, I did endeavor to try illegal drugs, and because all the kids were doing it, and I was like a sad loner kid, and I was just like, ugh. So if you are here, and welcome, hey, that way I saw your comment, what, my friend? So, I chat, I'm a chit chatter. And ultimately you're on my channel, so if you don't like it, just move right along instead of spreading hate. You know, don't waste your time basically like disliking a video or trying to trollville. It's not, you know, it's a waste of everybody's energy, so why bother? Oh my god. I'm in one of those moods today for sure where I'm a bit like, who is that person on the other side of the screen? Like, what is going on with her hair? Also, like, hey Jessica. So also, you guys, the hair is a little bit sad. Like I try to hide it, being like fresh. Just get this like flat. This, partly because you guys know this, I only wash my hair like once a week. So there's gonna be some in-between period where it's a bit greasy. But I think it's because I had the hat. Maybe I should wear the hat out. So I'm supposed to go out tonight. Is this appropriate for clubbing? I don't know. Is it? I never go out, so I wouldn't know. I normally am a jeans and t-shirt kind of girl. Ombre. It is ombre or balayage. Could I classify it as balayage like the classy version of ombre? I don't know. I did have it professionally done, but I actually haven't had it done since July, June. You guys you've been part of the hair saga all the time because thank you that way. I know this is part of the travesty of the I'm like, I know, and like I'm somebody who totally who genuinely believes that like we're all just like these stunning weird earth creatures. And I'm like, it's almost just a bit for fun, isn't it? Like it's like a gag. I'm not like deeply traumatized. I'm like, oh my god, my hair is disgusting and therefore I'm disgusting. um but but it's not like fresh. It's not like freshly done, and it's a little bit flat on the top. If I'm, oh my god, you guys are like, shut up about your hair already. We don't care. You look fine. I'm like, that's most of my life. Like doctors and adults are like, you look fine. I'm like, why do I feel so hate-filled and disgusting though? Energy. That's the life of the empath. Like, where's all the hatred coming from? Um, uh, so if you're new to the channel, you've probably sussed out by now, I talk a lot of ass. And intermixed with that ass are like really cool spiritual insights and like just I'm hearing that song like funky con Medina. Is that even a word? I don't know. Hi Kurt Mill, how are you, my friend? So I'm doing one of these, yeah. So far, we've got all major arcana, including the Tower and the Devil. And I still, like, I just woke up, so you can tell that my eyes are a little bit fogtastic, so... Oh, guys, I'm being... I have all these, like, lifelong patterns, like, that are just resurfacing to shiz. Finishing up my uni semester, woo, so glad to be ready to release. Kurt Mill, you're amazing. Hey Chic, hey Jessica. I liked the unplugged share I listened to earlier. Nice, the struggle is real. What up, Timothy Riley? Thank you for your comment about, I see, I just caught, and not you, Timothy, me. I just caught myself again in this, like, see, did you hear that? Ugh. I'm like, I love you, I love you. I'm like, I'm live on YouTube right now. Keep your vibration rate up. Chic, I'm definitely always working on that. Like, I had this funny old insight, like, even when I'm in the shits, the vibe is still higher than, like, a lot. You know what I'm saying? Frogtastic. Are you making fun of my sweater? It's hot. And I'm like, I feel all this, like, discomfort in my field, and so Organite help protection your vibration. Dude, I have loads. I have loads of Organite. I have 3 under my bed, and I have 3 Bianca Fish. Hello, lava. Nice to see you as well. I'm off Insta. Eh? Did you miss me? I have 3 under my bed. I have 3 in my closet. Sit on the stars in my imagination, or just like fly up to the sky. Oh, wear it. Okay, they're not conducive for wearing. They're quite big chunky pieces. They're not like little crystals that I could. Hi Patricia. I love how Chic's messages are all like capitalized, so it's like buy it, wear it, keep your vibration high. I'm like, I'm doing my best. I appreciate you guys loads anyway. Somebody wrote like the struggle is real, the free and large. That's right. No, that's okay. Don't be sorry, you lovers. And then I'm like reflecting that back to myself. Like, Emily, don't be sorry. You're just being yourself. I've been noodling with struggle versus pure perseverance myself. Ooh, Jessica. You know that's a noodle. That's a noodle worthy share right there. Propaganda, read this. OMG. So Timothy, I believe, did you comment on the unplug one? And like the propaganda, am I propagating you guys? Whatever, it's all to love. So, so let's try to control the masses. No, anyway, propaganda. That's jumping me to Unplug for Freedom and like teaching people about propagated thought construct as a means for creating that, you know? My mind is perpetually blown. At the same time, there's like heaviness in the air. I think it's like coming to complete these courses, kind of saving the most hard-hitting for last, and being inundated with, yet again, just the perpetual stream of like fear in the news and world and capitalization. I just watched, hey Megan, how are you? There's an area in Bristol called Montpellier. And like when your name pops up, I sort of think, because there's like slight connections to the name. Not, but you know, do you hear that? Megan Pelletier, is it? Anyway, my apologies. Hey, I love your vids. Hey, Pelletier. Yes, it's a little bit different, but anyway, cool name. Cool name. So, there's 3 cards laid down. I am doing a reading, but again, for you newbies, it's MJ time. MJ from All to Love, where this is my purpose. And then I'm going back to Jessica's message about the struggle versus perseverance. That is a relevant noodle. That's like the trying in my awareness. That's the default setting. So like struggle is the default setting. Perseverance is real. Like perseverance is something, as in, if we're transforming our lives, we're wanting to discipline ourselves to love and joy and happiness. It's like, and like, here's another bit. It's like, this is why we really, really, truly can't judge a book by a cover and cannot compare and compete and contrast or compromise for other or compete with other. Because truly, 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 every single one of us is just 100% completely unique. And so we can't. So what my struggle looks like could be somebody else's perseverance. LOL, perseverance. God. You know, like this is what I write about in the book around you just keep going. And like what Jess said is a truly relevant highlight around this material of like she's working it out for herself, going, am I just in the struggle? Am I just in the fucking struggle, or am I like streaming in flow and just persevering with the so like this YouTube channel, my lovers, my lovers, no one gets out alive, live freely. It's true, Timothy. I have a quote in this book about like live and die. We have this quite sad expression about, well, you live and die alone. And I'm like, well, that's kind of shitty and sad. What about if we live and die as one collective consciousness, one, as in, I feel when we leave the physical bodies, we have much greater sense of our unity and of the kind of interconnectivity of the web of life, the spider, which is all upgrading into like a more ethereal, what feels better in these bodies. Certainly from my perspective, having lived in the body, where I'm like, I'm pretty sure if we can feel better and lighter, it would feel just generally better, and that we could like actually have dominion over our body. What up? Elf is in the house. So Jessica, leaving the body, that's a fun thought. Totally. I regularly well, I work with the body. See, that's body workers. Like I work with transforming the cells of my body. I consciously, hey Cara Lila Costa, sexy. For some reason I imagine like doing salsa classes with you and just being like, salsa. I loved that because I noodled with that kind of essence a lot, and I posted a comment recently about, I want to do belly dancing as well. when I can afford it, when I finish the courses. So, did you dance tonight? No, but that's tonight. I didn't go out. My friend asked me out. I failed at being a friend and being a social person yesterday, all week, in fact. But tonight, I actually booked a ticket to hold myself accountable. I booked a ticket. I spent money on going out. Now I'm gonna go out tonight. It's a place called the Black Swan. Is that relevant? Is that symbolic, considering I see swans all the time? So, but it's the Black Swan, so... Plus, I just watched a documentary called Take Your Pills, and it's made me totally be like, ugh, I want like some microdose of something to just like... Or I'll go to bed, wake up at 1 a.m., have a coffee, and go to the club and have a dance. So I'm gonna go to the club and dance tonight. I'm like, that's the legit for my life. Just moved to a new city. Guess what? I'm just gonna go to a club by myself, looking fly, and just like, God, I'm such a dork. I'm such a dork. I do that once in a while. Yeah. Dance. Magic dance. I love David Bowie. I love that Labyrinth. I love that movie. It's kind of a classic growing up. Struggle of perseverance. That's sitting with me for sure, Jess. It's like that's discernment, all right? Haha, you know it. I do know it. That's the discernment piece within the emotional field. Purity, beauty, grace, love, elegance, wisdom, divination, and balance. I am all of those things. Purity, divination, swan. I jest. But a little bit true as well on some certain levels. The bird. I am a bird. In the UK, they call girls birds. So, yeah, when it comes to way back, or well, not way back, but like earlier, Jess was mentioning, like, I'm really sitting, I'm noodling with perseverance and struggle. And I'm like, that's the discernment between like even how our culture defines like work. Work has to be hard. I'm like, so we reframe it, new paradigm. Work is actually our service, which when we noodle away and heal from the distortion of our culture and from this whatever karma, whatever we want to call it, when we heal and come into greater authenticity and come into greater unity, to me personally, the ultra love perspective, my service is actually a joy. You know, my service is something divinated, or is that even a word? Or divinely guided, certainly, from spirit, which is this creative, inspirational thing. It's like the way that the online Be the Change courses came about was completely not my own conscious, like, be smart or do da. It was just all kind of effortlessly flown down. And even now to this point of like the research and it's flowing. It's flowing in a way that, and I have to say that I guess the flip of the paradigm is that I'm totally doing something that I'm choosing to do consciously and that I love and that I feel personally is important, regardless of what anybody else thinks. And I'm putting work in, but it's not like a struggle. You know how there's almost this like, oh my God, I worked so hard. There's almost this, we are attached to struggle and suffering. Do you know? And this is why it's such a worthy noodle share continuous. Is like, do we need that though? How easy can life be? How effortless can life be? And when I'm doing and living my purpose, perseverance is easy. You guys know, because you're here. I wake up at the middle of the night almost every single night and I broadcast live on YouTube as my work, as my service to the world, being like, hey, how, what, it's your birthday. It's not your birthday, but it's intuitive reading time. Right, Elf. So y'all can see it. Once we start to get these veils lifted, we can start to see those attachments. And they're almost laced. It's like it's programmed into our culture, like be productive, be important, be special, be and I'm like, but we already are. We are beings. Why can't we just be who we are? But what are we? That's that's a big questiones to be asking. I just want to upgrade a world where humanity can create in for its highest potential. Totally. Me. I'm so there with you, Kurt. And everyone is cared for, right? I'm like, come on, guys. We're supposed to be the most intelligent species. What's going on? Why can't we achieve this? We can achieve this. We just have to choose to. And that's part of where I'm coming from, where I'm like, we have to reprogram our mind. We have to emancipate ourselves from that program which divide and conquers us. We have to reclaim our sovereignty as the human collective consciousness to then pioneer this, where social participation and authenticity are regarded greatly. Right, and I would say the same for kindness, compassion, and empathy. And those with less than have more training, have more evolving to do, right? No, I don't live alone. What up, Divine Sight? How are you? We need to be so much just to be in divine alignment. Chic, see, but this is a mastermind right here, my lovers, because what we need to be is just divine alignment. That was something I was thinking about recently, was like, it's the alignment. And that's where we can't cross the finish line with other, if that makes sense. Like, we can't do it in each other's pockets. We actually have to integrate as sovereign beings and walk as individuals, walk the finish line. Which is what you're talking about, the divine peace, divine law, divine alignment, is that we're rising, it's like an upgraded system, right? It's like, I think I just saw web, but then the way I see it is like it's a more evolved web. Do unto others, pretty much. I'm at like, do you remember being a kid? In the 70s or 80s, probably for most of us, and they're like teaching, the 5 golden rules or whatever. Like, be nice to each other, treat others how you, and like you kind of like me. I'll talk about myself because that's who I am. I have those little like, I'm like, see, everybody wants to like do. Everybody should want to treat. Look at this. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that to myself. I'm having like a being hard on myself day to day. And have been for weeks. But yeah, do you remember how we were taught those like golden rules or whatever? And then it just fucking flung into adulthood from education. And then by the time you reach adulthood, all the 5 golden rules go out the window, and people are like, well, it's business though. Like, it's business, so we can't really be nice. I mean, and then that's what really kind of you're like a mermaid out of water. This face, business as usual. There, bring me back to the point. Yeah, and that's what really got me about the kind of the yoga community, where I'm like, so we're teaching this purity of like peace, love, but then as soon as people leave the yoga studio, or as soon as people leave your yoga business, or things that actually happen to me where people are like, well, that's business though, MJ. And I'm like, oh, I thought we were genuinely trying to be good people. And they're like, well, it's nice. You're so idealistic or naive or whatever. And I'm like, oh, so we only take our spiritual practice up to the fucking till, basically. And then as soon as we're talking about, financial transactions here, it falls by the wayside. Or as soon as we talk about it, it's like I went to an interview for a huge yoga studio, one of these like multiple site chain like yoga studios that dominated London, England. And all the celebrity yogis go there, and it's pretty expensive, but like, manageable. Oh, and they have, of course, karma yogis, people who want to do classes and work for free just to be able to get into that kind of, celebrity worshiping culture, but in the spiritual community, like in the yoga community. And like I went to for the interview, and one of the first things the lady said to me who was interviewing me was like, "Don't you know who I am? Haven't you done your research?" And I just said to her, I was like, I like to be present. I, and yet I'm the weird one who's like, yoga teaches us about peace and unity, not about how fucking egotistical we can be because we work the hardest or because we have some statusy type role within a yoga organization, you know? And then, oh my God, talking about the yoga industry, although you guys know where I'm here, right? Also the fact, because I know some of you are yoga teachers and I know some of you are training, I'm like, but don't get me wrong, yoga is beautiful. You feel the yoga in your body and you feel the yoga in your heart. That is the yoga. Everything else is a bunch of human bullshit. Unless it's not, you know what I'm saying? And I lost my train of thought. That's your first impression, yikes. No, this is not my first impression. This is after 12 years of the yoga industry, you know, where I'm like teaching in the purity and then evolving my life and my career. This interview was just earlier this year when I was financially bottoming out. And I applied for a yoga management job because I kind of, after 10, 11 years in the yoga industry, and financially bottoming out in between more online love hot vibrations buying my products, I went for a gig to help run this big yoga studio. And I mean, as soon as I walked into the office, my whole being was like, no, this isn't gonna work. And then meeting the woman who would have been my senior manager in the position, and her just being like, don't you know who I am? Haven't you done your research? Haven't you? And I'm like, oh, I like being present. Like, I'm not concerned about people's roles and statuses. You know what I mean? Oh, I mean that person that came at you like that. Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing, Timothy Riley. I've never really played in that corporate world, but from what people tell me, that's just the norm. This conversation is still the less norm, if you know what I mean. I know it shocks me to the core. It surprises me. The things that I've been through and the lessons that I've learned surprise me as a 37-year-old woman in this world, that I'm the weird one because I really genuinely care about people. The industry, but that is exactly the word, Divine Side. The industry is whack. And this is another industry professional. But this is a big piece actually when it comes to our evolution as a species. This is, I think, what we're about to. You know how when we learn about our history, we learn about the different ages, and we're now moving into a great age of awakening, which means that as a species we're evolving beyond industry, connected to a false perception, connected to a false. I mean, if you anchor it into the false perception of our global humanity, it's the false perception that we're having to niggle out. We have to become more whole. We have to become more unified beings, which simply means our intellect isn't disconnected from the body. Our intellect isn't disconnected from the emotions and the intuition. We have to connect our mental. Our mental agility. We have to connect our intellect, our ability to think critically, but we have to connect it into the field of our awareness. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of data. It's just a bunch of data, which, according to some of these other documentaries I've been watching, it being used against us. You know, being used to direct our behavior. Do we even know that? Like, this is where my mind's been like spinning out and going really deep and into shit. And I'm like, God, did I even consciously choose my yoga training, or was that something that was directed at me because of where I was in my life 10 years ago or 12 years ago? You know what I mean? Yeah, the ages: medieval ages, Renaissance, age of exploration, colonial exchange, age of enlightenment, age of colonialism, industrial revolution, world wars, information age. So the information age is win the war for self. Boom, Timothy. That and this is where we're at. This is way back, five years ago. Maybe I remember doing a live share. It wasn't probably live share. I just recorded a video for the YouTube channel, And it was basically like conflict, the idea of conflict and war, that is a conflict within our own consciousness as a species. So the whole idea of harmonizing and ending war has nothing to do with protesting or fighting or even creating peace out there. It's to do with us evolving ourselves as a species and our ability to harmonize all of the hatred and contempt and the anger and the fear that we feel for ourselves and one another, and to project something different. To be able to fucking love. This is where I'm at, where I'm being honest with you guys about feeling just all like uncomfortable in my skin, and like and like one of you that I've been chatting to recently was like, what, even you like, you know, because I said about hiding my mirrors, but then that's another part of the psychoses of it, is even the obsession of it. I'm like, ugh, I'm tired of even looking at myself. However, I got to say, the beautiful thing about even being able to express it is that there was a time when these patterns would have made me not show up. And that's part of the big difference. That's how I knew the yoga career was good for me, was that even when I was having a bad day, I would still be able to show up to a yoga client. So even when I'm having a bad weeks, months, I can still be like, that's okay, MJ, you're still loved. Like, I still have core fundamental love for myself, because that's what I'm working on. So the old freak out default settings have definitely been harmonized. Even when you get threatening letters from people, you can still be like, thank you so much for threatening to take all my things. I have so much appreciation for you. I love you. And I do. Like, I genuinely have just so much love for people. At the same time, I'm becoming increasingly selfish, being like, Timothy Riley, after fair use strengthening, that's right. So Jess, your green heart has reminded me back to your awesome insight and comment and noodle about the struggle and the perseverance. True. And I think, I mean, I could just lay it down like that, basically, like, you make it up, but be aware that our more dominant default setting would be kind of the struggle, but the struggle would make it almost harder and harder and harder to persevere, which just mean you're being kind of like sucked into the idea of like the struggle of it kind of. And the weird thing is that I'm getting the energetic connection between like struggle and suffering. Like, ongoing struggle is become suffering, right? So that's definitely, and just like trying shouldn't feel like struggle and effort, because that to me means it's not in our flow. It's not in our alignment. I'm like, what's the next thing for MJ versus like the yoga was on flow and it just all the la 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 la. Pardon me, you guys. The speaking is that much easier. I mean, I trigger more people, which is where it's triggered all my fear, and it's made me a stronger person, because I had people even in the yoga industry be like, can you come to yoga? Just don't talk. We don't want to hear what you talk about on your YouTube channel. And I'm like, dang, you know? Anyway, I go on about that kind of stuff, but I don't choose to focus there. So the point, I see it like struggle as the shadow and perseverance as a gift more so. Ooh, I like this. I like it. I like it a lot. Struggle. Right. Do you feel me with the kind of the struggle as the shadow? Ooh, okay. There's I feel a lightness around how you describe it. So yeah, I get you then in that regard. Like and that's contrast. Like, I'm going to keep going no matter what. We're going to keep persevering no matter what. And then within that steady climb, there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be peaks and troughs. There's going to be moments of shadow shit. Shadow shit comes up. It seems to just persist. So, oh my God, but I'm getting this other insight. It's to do with Abraham teachings as well. But let us not get attached to that as a construct either. That's something I'm very, very aware of with this next level, and this acceleration, is that because, especially because I'm an author as well, I'm like, at some point we can drop the process. Like, at some point we have to let go of the struggle even. See, but this is where it's more minds. It has to do with it's divine timing. It's divine timing. We've been programmed that living in struggle is a way to, right. I know, and yet not. because there's, and not the people who have that programming in them. There are people, I think, who live, I don't know though. It's really hard to see how it's all going to unfold, because I think there is a belt of people who I look up to, or maybe I spent most of my life looking up to, because life seems so wonderful and easy for them, and they're all doctors and lawyers and da 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 da. And yet I don't know what would happen if spiritual awakenings happened for them. Like, I don't know how they would feel about their lives if they suddenly knew all this stuff about the system, or about the economy. If suddenly their heart of empathy like blew their mind, kind of thing. I don't know what would happen to their constructed reality as a world. You know what I'm saying? Everyone here is awesome. I don't see shadows, I see them in colors, and they're people and animals and gods. Interesting. Yeah, because then I'm thinking of how the collective shadow could then become like an entity in and of itself. But that's the point of expressing it. That's the point of seeing it. That's the point of bringing it to light. That's the point of loving it, even, right? February keeps coming up for me as well. The other day I felt some deep sadness, and my guidance said, be grateful and allow this too. I felt into the dense emotions and the heavy feeling transform into light and gold. And yeah, there again, we have a lot of power in our awareness, right? That's what I'm basically doing within the density feelings, is like, I'm more aware, and like things come into biofeedback, things come in to remind us that's not ours, that's ancestral, that's not, it's not inherently in my divine DNA coding, but I carried it for my learning. Like, I'm having a lot of stuff come up around like being really thankful for the shadow, being really like, I love even. It's weird, because it's like this grumpy kid, or this sort of resistant little kid who's like, no, I want to stay angry, and you're like, come here, like, I'm gonna love you still, and like you give them a big hug or whatever, and then they're it's like the shadow doesn't have anywhere to go or anything to hold on to, or any, it just has to love to all have to go. Lots of love to is it Nepal? You're in the mountains, are you? Yeah, so this like resistant, dense, old ancestral karma, and also, my own lifelong self-loathing patterns. Yeah, it's like this resistant teenager energy, but I'm still loving it, and I'm still da da da, which is part of being able to show up, and like still being able to love the self, even in the holding space of the feeling of the non-love, of the icks, of the what up, Jazz? Did I just say Jazz? Did I say hi to Jazz? I don't even remember, even though it was probably literally like 2 seconds ago. Yeah. Oh, this is pretty cool, you guys. So you guys are doing, I've only started doing this work. This is all the, I would say, other intuitive gifts that we all have that are almost being activated or coming online. Everyone faces is a level up. Yeah. Ugh. And I feel like, but it's been so deep and dense, and then I feel like I'm not even going to be excited with the level up. I'm just like, like the finish line is right there, and I'm like, great. Or like the last step to the fucking climb is right there. And when I first started, you thought, oh, it'd be so exciting when you get right to the top, isn't it? And then when you're at the top, you're like, who cares? Huh? Like, but then I think that's a good thing, so that you can't lord it over people. You haven't got some mahusive ego to lord over in your excellent divine creation. You can't use it to enslave people. That would be a big trip, wouldn't it? Because the ego is quite tricky. It does do that. Yeah, right, pretty much. It's felt like that. But then there's been lightnesses as well. And see, the words. Words are useless. No, they're not. They're not useless at all. Haha, same. Could struggle, foster worry, even lead to fear. Yeah, for sure, without discernment, without being aware. Here is a great example, though, within our share of how each and why the crossing the finish line must be done on one's own, in the self. Because as we've exemplified quite easily here, quite beautifully, is like, so we all have our different sort of attachments to we have these different attachments to words and meaning, if that makes sense. So how someone's perceiving the word of struggle, perseverance, or the word of whatever it might be, right? It's like that, how we're energetically attaching to the meaning has a large part to do with how the biofeedback is coming in. I'm resonant with the other, where like struggles, hard work, like life is hard, it's always gonna be a fucking struggle, I'm gonna or heavy, but then that's been an imprinting for most of my life from within myself. It's not even like I saw people having a great time in this world, but inside me, it was a struggle. It was pressure. It was never good enough. It was working really, really fucking hard. And like I explained to somebody back recently about my high school around the anorexia, bulimia, psychoses, and fucking attempted suicide, and Prozac, and depression, and I would wake up early, go for a run. This is midwinter, I'm talking. I would go for a run at 6 a.m. in the snow, and then go to school all day, usually have some kind of club that I was spearheading, like drama club or dance club, at lunchtime, because I wouldn't want to eat, of course. And then after school, I'd either have dance rehearsal, or I'd go to the gym. I'd go to the gym for a couple hours after school, and then I'd have dance rehearsal, and then I would do my homework. And then at the weekend, if I had any time to sleep in, I would feel fucking guilty because I was a lazy bitch. Yeah, no wonder most of us are like having mental, emotional breakdowns by the time we're 21. Because what kind of life is that as a human, Other judgment, I had major social anxiety, totally. Spiritual helped me through that nowadays. My past me is just so surreal. I'm so confident now. Right. And I feel that as well around, like, okay, I can be honest about like my densities, my lifelong patterns, or what have you. But I love me now, and I love that I can go into environments and feel fine, or not, or notice what I'm picking up on, but still be able to hold space for that and be okay with that. And if I want to leave, I leave. Like, not being afraid of what people think is legit awesome, basically. And like being good inside yourself, even when you're sitting in some shits, is like, this fucking badass. I'm like, I don't even realize how valuable some of these tools are that we have. Feeling as a leader, my step away. Yes. Just a small space to facilitate my own services. Drop the studio weight of carrying it on. That feels clarity, ease. That's similar, and this all to love business friend was coming off all social media. I'm not fuck them. Stop trying. Stop doing everything for everyone. And that will come in time. But I think that allowing ourselves to have the support that we need and making choices that are just right for us. Like not having to do everything for everybody, not to hold everybody's hand all the time. Like, God Almighty, imagine that. That's like the struggle of the empath, right? Jazz, thank you. Green is my color. Even my mother doesn't even, I think because I've gone off Facebook and Instagram, she's like, where's my daughter? She's not on the Instagram anymore, so she like went out of her way to check up on me on the YouTube, and she's like, what is that green sweater you're wearing? I'm like, do you like it, mommy? Because it wasn't, but thank you. So now, blah, blah, talking about my clothes. Earlier we're talking about my hair. It was not what I thought. So basically, I like, I shop Instagram. I shop on eBay or charity shops. And in the eBay photograph, it looked more teal. I don't even have like the color, but I was looking for something more light green and teal, if I'm completely honest. But then this showed up in the post, and I was like, oh, it's kind of cute. It's very Christmassy. It's very like festive. But then my mother was like, oh no, honey, this is gorgeous. It's emerald green. It makes me think of like, I need to get shine bright like a diamond, an emerald ring. Oh look, Auntie P's just showed up. What? I'm doing like a little booty dance in my chair. Oh my god. This is where I'm like literally, I'm like sweating and I'm just, okay, do you guys know, like the cards are still here. Oh, Nelly. Oh look, anyway, I'm not sure too much. My roommate has been dealing with the allergy. So there's a whole bunch of, what are they called? Vitamins and pills to ramp up the immune system. You need one of those sun hats, and then you have us walking on the beach in those clothes. What? In these clothes? In my sweatpants? In my leg warmers? Again, my roommate was like, so like every morning, do you like get ready? I'm like, some mornings I'll like, I'm getting my makeup done, I'm putting on my jeans, feeling all like I am ready for the day. Other days, makeup on, maybe I'll put a different sweater on to make me feel fresh, but oops, yep, still wearing my tracksuit bottoms. Because I can't be bothered. Plus, if I'm honest, normally after my live sharing, I signature MJ sweatpants. Usually after my live share time, I do some yoga moves. I move my body around to feel alive. And so it does bode me well. In fairness, like all of my jeans and all of my clothes I can practice yoga in. Probably except for this like this like sparkly winter dress. That would probably not be, if I was wearing tights, it'd be fine. Anyway, so yeah, I don't always wear like presentable clothes on YouTube. I'm sorry, guys. I think it's a little bit of an inner rebel. Do you guys remember way back when, like, I think around the time or even before I published the book, I was working with this backer person who was basically mentally controlling me and manipulating me to try and make money out of what's left. And me, obviously. And they were trying to shape me. And I showed up for our first day of filming. Thanks. I think so. Because I'm also like, but it doesn't matter, right? So, what am I even talking about? Oh yeah, I show up for the first day of filming for the course, and so like the book's being written and we're playing around with actually like recording coursework for the Fearless Life Tribe. And I show up in my Bob Marley crop top and these sweatpants. And he gave me the fucking long ass lecture. But like, do you think Tony Robbins would ever show up in sweatpants to filming? And like my little inner rebel was like, I'm not fucking Tony Robbins, am I? I don't know why he always compared me to Tony Robbins. So I, like a fucking stroppy teenager, went back to my room, got changed, put my fucking clothes on, and all these years later, when people see those videos, they're like, who's that girl? I'm like, that girl was fucking being manipulated by somebody who was trying to use her to make money out of the brand that she started called All to Love. And you know what, guys? I will stay real. And I will wear fucking sweatpants if I want to wear sweatpants. Because there are people in the world who can't even fucking afford sweatpants. So there's nothing wrong with sweatpants. Oh, I'm cray-cray today. Cray-cray every day. But also heart love vibrashe. Like people think this is crazy. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm just alive and spirited. What's happened is that through some kind of weird agenda system thing, people, me included at one point, like we sell our soul and then end up stepping in line to this like narrow threshold of this is what it means to be human, and anything outside of this is weird or hippie or scary or oh no, don't want to do that, oh no, you know. It means you're here to work. That's right. I just pictured myself twerking, being like, work, work, work. Because I can in my sweatpants. I could in my jeans as well. Again, I like a little bit of elasticated in my jeans. So doesn't anybody wear sweatpants anymore? Oh, and these are secondhand. I've had them for many years now as well. I just realized like just this morning, I'm like, ooh, they're getting a bit thin. Might end up getting a bit of a rip. Anyway, no, I'm not gonna say that. Holy manoli, like what you guys do to me. Oh God, yeah, sitting in some shits. But shall we crack on with the reading and stop talking about my sweatpants because they're not that interesting, to be honest. I know, I like being a hippie as well. I just wish the West crack on, shall we? Ugh. Isn't it weird that there is some inner reflected, like inner, have we done the cards yet? No, Kurt, but none of it really matters because we're all one and we all know it all already. The devil in the tower, you guys, the devil in the tower. I mean, it's like some shit is ending, basically. And the high priestess is rising. You wanker. We're all wankers here, Tim. Come on. The tower is so nightman. Sweatpants on my entry. So pleased. So pleased that I can entertain you. In hot lava. Should we do an experiment, MJ? I don't know. Shall we? Maybe. Let's do it. Ooh, tower. Yeah. It's the devil and the tower. And that's just like, I feel this is, again, intuition reigns supreme, right? But I'm like, we know all of this already. Hey, that way, are you Scottish then? See, if I try really, see, it fucks, it goes off. It's a wing. I'm not solid. I'm more solid with the Scouser accent, with the Liverpool accent. I'm not shit. I'm not quite as solid with the Scottish accent, but I can, when I'm light with it, I can try. Anyway, I love Scottish and Irish accents. Yeah, I'm gonna practice them more. I just remembered I have a reading to do today. Anyway, shall I fill you in, you guys, on my day's activities? I'm gonna try to, I'm moving on to week 4 writing as well. Anyway, okay, the devil in the tower, and they're both in the reverse. That is what's giving me this feeling of like one, they're obviously connected. The tower feels to me like it's already been coming down. That's the energies, right? And this is Timothy. This is where you'll get me. I don't drink any ale. I don't drink any alcohol. I prefer plants, if I'm honest. I prefer things like cannabis, and I was even Googling microdosing on mushrooms this morning. I'm like, just because I watched that Take the Pill thing, and I'm like, I want fucking Adderall. I want to enhance my performance. Not really, if I'm honest, but microdosing does intrigue me. I'm just being honest, you guys. Microdosing is intriguing to me. Coffee. Mushrooms are intriguing, and the microdose effect, I don't know, I'm not like, because of my nature as well, I'm very aware of staying aware with this stuff. We all have a function, right? And I feel like our natural proclivity has meaning in our function. So for some of us, if we are attracted to things like microdosing on LSD or microdosing on mushrooms or MDMA or any of that, then it can be part of our own human evolution. I'm sure about microdosing. Yeah, I just, because it's not going anywhere. This is part of right near the end of this. It's called Take Your Pills on Netflix. It's a documentary focusing mainly on Adderall as a substance that these young American kids, for the most part, got hooked on. 1111, what? Ronald, I love shrooms. Yeah, and I just, because I've done the ayahuasca, and again, I'm an advocate for cannabis legalization. I think I think there's benefits, and I think the propaganda around the fear is the worst bit, in fact. And then the pharmaceutical companies having free reign to expedite and distribute medicines when things like that grow from the earth are still illegal. It makes no sense to me. I don't know. There's this whole, maybe it's the age of Aquarius coming in, you guys. It just, everything's starting to feel a little quite like loose. Even the fucking powers that be in the system of control, I think it's all breaking apart. That's what it feels like. Conjunction, junction. What's that function? If that feels like it means something, but I don't know how to work it out. I don't like intellectually understand it. I've done imagination all my life. Then you wake up. Dissolve, dissolve. What does that mean? The song Aquarius. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Age of... Fuck. You guys crack me up. You guys crack me up, and then I crack myself up. Greed, emo, for why it's not legalized. Right. Yeah, that's still the kind of thing, isn't it? It's not regulated. It can't be regulated, right? In that regard. Although they've done it in some states in America, isn't that correct? That there are states in America. I mean, I know in Canada it's legal. In Canada, you can just go to like candy shops, basically. Your size. Right. Yeah. I'm sure like back in 2014, I'm pretty sure I bought some in San Francisco, like from a pharmacy, or somebody else bought it for me because I wouldn't have had the right documentation. But I read something about 60s, so there is a majority approval. Yeah. And this is where, again, I just am somebody who's like non-dictatorial, the kind of thing. I'm like, and that's, I think, why I so passionately primarily believe in being connected to the heart and practicing non-judgment, so that you're free to do what serves you. And because we're unique, we can't listen to everybody else, and there's no one way, right? Interesting. What's up? And again, plant food. Let food be thy medicine. And oh God, see, like these little insert points. I can feel it. It's like it really is all the same. We just categorize and compartmentalize everything, whether we're taking pharmaceutical drugs or taking food or taking or smoking or shopping, or it's all trigger points in the biofeedback of the system. And all we're having to do from within our own self is to shapeshift those biofeedback loops that we're in to a higher one. And I truly believe that there are certain even illegal substances that shouldn't be illegal in the more evolved humanity, that we should empower one another to be able to choose freely. Like what you want to eat, what you want to do, what you want to do. And when we don't have all these mental constructs around right and wrong and good and bad, then we can ultimately use things. So because one of you said something that made me think, yeah, weed isn't for everybody. Just like alcohol wasn't for me. For some people, I truly genuinely think like alcohol's okay. They have a glass of red wine for dinner, or they genuinely jive with it, right? Megan, and this is where I sometimes, this is why I really believe in the legalization of it, because I sometimes wish I had better ways of getting more of the different types, if that makes sense. Like, because here it's just still illegal and like, dodgy dealer situations. That's not always true, but certainly not getting the oil or the candies for that matter. Like I remember chewing on the candies when I was back in Canada, and it was just delish. I just poured up some fresh bottles of CBD oil. CBD oil is, pardon me, being legalized. For the good. CBD is getting higher education. Yeah. I think CBD is the main component. See, to me, and there's still this underlying issues that CBD, and this is something else, this is another insert, without going too much into any kind of debate, is that what we're having to heal as a people is our nervous system. Think of all the technology, the busyness, the productivity, and the fact that we've all been driven to this level of productivity via the wound of unworthiness, via separation, right? And it's our nervous system that's all out of whack. Stress, and our just like humanity must keep going, must drive, and that is the main function of our illness and our dysfunction. Once we're, I think, more natural and relaxed and we wouldn't abuse anything. It's fun, I think, to get together and celebrate and have recreation, but the fact is we're not there yet. Some people are, surely, yeah. But for a lot of us, I think we're still navigating the truth of our healing and empowering ourselves to freedom. And then within that empowerment piece to freedom, I'm sure we can find the most harmonious modus operandus for the beingness that we are. Some of us, I think, are just touching into that. Just touching into it. We're just at the beginning road of the new climb, as it were. Right, I mean, we couldn't climb another mountain if our nervous system was shot to shit. Garlic. Garlic is one of the... Oh, is it? I didn't realize that. Isn't garlic really healing as well? Isn't there some therapeutic benefits? I think mushrooms is also quite detoxifying. Well, the natural, like the mushrooms that don't have the psychotropic in them, they're a diuretic. So mushroom as a substance still has a kind of purifying effect on the system. That's what I heard anyway when I last did them, and the first time in 10 years, and then the only time in the last year. And I was very conscious, like very meditative and ceremonial with the mushrooms. And so it's like I listened for what the mushrooms were teaching me about the mushrooms, which is part of why I think some of us are inclined to a shamanistic type of healing, because our beingness recognizes the symbiosis of ingesting plant medicine. Just like ayahuasca, it's not like I'm wanting to escape my reality into ayahuasca. It's just when you live in service to your brothers and sisters, you're guided to do certain things. And I believe that it's the trusting in the guidance, because it goes against the status quo sometimes. It goes against the grain, right? But I think that's part of the divine law. That's part of why we're all here, is that we're being asked to step out of conventional law at this point more and more collectively, so that we can shine light for people. It's that simple, really. Yeah, there again, it's like I want to say, like, listening to the self. The body will tell us. The body mind connection tells us when it's being pressured or we all have different connecting points as well, and obviously different lifestyles, but the more connected one is, the more readily we're able to listen to it. And I'm somebody at a point where I just don't fight it, really. And even in this last few weeks of other shadow shit coming up, I just am holding space for it. I'm amazed at how non-reactive I am, and how I'm still showing up despite myself. And I'm like, okay, good. That means we're getting on the other side of these. It's still love and money connected stuff, self-worth, self-value, self-belief, self-commitment, and then the extension into my financial life, and then my physical life, and all of that. So it's still permeating into that, but my reaction has almost none at all, and or flipped completely, like lover, or like, yeah, getting bills, and instead of having some like freak out, it's like, it's more like a, oh, thank you. Thank you for the thank you for that lovely threatening reminder. You're so lovely. I'm so looking forward to paying you back. Like, so yeah, it's like you shift the plates within yourself. Timothy Riley. Oh my God, I love that. I've been so yearning that as well, like the complete clean out and just, yeah. And that Timothy, that's so relevant, isn't it? I'm with you there. Isn't it nice just to feel good, like being you in like your you state? That's something as well. It's like, holy shit, we've gone so far away from that as adults that we're having to use all these different substances just to be okay with who we are without any of the substances. That's how wild is that, right? At the same time, in my voice, I really like to permission everybody to be in love with themselves 100% completely as you are here now. Which means if there's compulsions and desires and so-called addictions and so-called that you're still loved. That's the point, Timothy. And I agree with you that we find our way home. We can still find our way home as adults, where days and months and years can go by and we're completely in our love and integrity, and we have enjoy healthy food, and we don't need stimulants or substances to alter our state of beingness to be okay about being here. My God, what joy is that we don't need to even be discussing this, because we're just like frolicking about in like our natural state of being, you know, like the pristine life for sure. That is part of, and I guess I'm somebody who kind of thinks that plants are less dangerous in the soulful human organic level than maybe pharmaceuticals, but I don't know, you know, and like that I'm ushering us closer to the natural place versus the other. I get a sense intuitively anyway as well that the natural plant-based substances are less harmful and probably less addictive. Although I still, in my beingness, really sit with the construct of addiction and how, yeah, there's always a double edge. I guess it's that. There's always a double edge to a debate, to a whatever in our world, our constructed reality. If the media or whatever is going after something as bad, wrong, which is potentially dividing people, that to me in the beingness is the construct that we're having to outdo, and then ultimately just love and accept yourself fully 100% no matter what. Like with all of your vices, and only because that's who I am now here. You know, I have to love and accept myself with the drinking coffee, with the still having tobacco, with the still desiring to smoke cannabis, and and be like, but can I still love who I am? Regardless of not being what the world has told me is this perfect human. You know? And I'm like, yeah, I can. And because I would want that for everybody. So clearly I'm on this path where it's like I have to do that for myself. I want drug addicts and alcoholics and workaholics and people who might be killing themselves with food, or shopaholics or whatever. I want all the aholics and the isms. I want all of them to be able to love who they are in their humanness, in all of the perfect imperfections kind of thing. One of you guys posted about that, and I completely agree. Two sides to it always. And that's part of the harmonization of the extreme of polarization, is that we encapsulate the full. We hold space for the whole. My high, my low, the squeaky clean, shiny perfection, and the shadow shit. You know, it's all worthy of love. And that's ultimately been the practice of late in these last few weeks and months, is just holding space and loving the wholeness of the expression, you know, and knowing it's as fucked up as everything and as wonderful as everything, and then just still surrendering and seeing where it all goes, because I don't fucking know. Hey H, I'm trying to look at your thing. Is there anything that startle your being? Just adapt and overcome to what it means, pretty much. Yeah. And overcome to one own. I feel like I'm feeling into that in alignment way to being more medicated, which to me would be in addition to feel normal again. Right. Yeah, it is. It's all love. Yeah, exactly. I know. I think that's sometimes where, because if people are too much in their head, they're not necessarily following us in this conversation, where I come back to that. I'm like, but it's all love. So can I just like love it all? And like what would happen then if we create our own reality, and I'm just beating myself up for this, that, and the other, versus I'm loving myself for everything I do because I get to. Like, that to me is the power of manifestation, is that regardless of the circumstances. Which is why I probably don't go too heavy-handed on like, eat like this, behave like this, do this every day. Because to me, it's not about the external trigger points. It's about totally reshaping your inner reality. And like, again, only one can do that. I love you, man. I love you, man. So, and now the cards. Just, fuck, man. So there's this huge tower moment, you guys. You know, it's funny because I don't think I could have read it with just the three. Because remember how I had and the devil? Yes, there is the devil. Which, hey, do you know what? This is full on. It's because we're talking about this, the nature of these things. We're talking about loving ourselves even while we're. Oh man, I just got a horrible thought. Even when we're attached to the devil. So. High Priestess into Queen of Wands is the energy that is sort of holding space. Precisely. That's Capricorn energy as well. So there's a... No, oh my god. And now that's making me think the devil's not all bad. Now I'm just like, holy... But this is what paradigm shift is truly assuring in us. I'm like, I don't... Oh, like, it's so beyond us. It's so beyond the... Ooh, watch the cleavage. It's so beyond the... Even that. It's like, we are the devil too. This community, you guys, blows my socks off. But then I didn't want to say socks. I wanted to say blows my leg warmers off. And I feel like doing like little jazz hands and like kicking my leg warmers off. So the main like energy to me here is the Queen of Wands, which I always see as the sort of modern mystic high priestess. So in essence, the kind of depth of the reading, what I'm getting is that we really are rising the intuitive gifts, the psychic abilities, the possibly for some of you a sexual mastery, I'm hearing. And there is a Chariot here as well. By the way, a lot of major arcana. Did I say that already? I probably said that at some point. A lot of major arcana. The Chariot here, the Chariot is very slow moving. This is pretty much the context of like everything we've talked about in this share today. There is still some underlying belief systems that we're out working in the mind via the intuition. We're moving slowly out of this kind of tower. It's like, okay, the tower comes down and we suddenly see that there's these shadows, i.e. these elements or aspects that we're attached to via the devil card. But the towers come down. So the Chariot is moving us forward, but moving us really slowly because we're navigating debris, you could say. We're navigating some smoke and debris from the tower coming down. So like a massive life change, and then what the fuck do I do now? We'll just keep going, but go slow. Listen to your intuition. There's something about laying the burden down, you guys. This card's come up a fair bit. I feel like we've been in a cocooning phase for most of the 21st century, and now we're realizing things need to change. Yeah, I res with that. This card is significant to a lot of us, you guys, like laying the burden down. This to me is about laying the burden down of the past, laying down our own limiting beliefs, laying down our, the pain, the struggle from the past, right? Basically that, what Divine Sight said, tune into what no longer serves and lay it down. This energy to me is so much of the like, I just can't win, like I never get it, really negative thinking patterns, but they're intertwined with our, like what people would call self-sabotage or not believing in ourselves. And so we have to carry all these wounds because that is our identity, i.e. like our identity is like, I just have so much on my plate all the time, like I can't get around to it, I can't do it. And then ultimately this whole line is basically saying this is an illusion. Drop the past. I really like that, Kurt, as a whole structure. So drop the past, embrace freedom of choice. To me, and that's basically what the entire Unplug for Freedom course is trying to teach people, that like if we're ingesting media and advertising, we're not free. And I know that seems like a long stretch for people, but it's just the truth. Like we've been programmed by the TV and by corporation with agenda to make us consume their products. And unless we've been unplugged for probably quite a while, our shopping trend and our consumerist behavior is dictated to by us. It's programmed into our mind. So what Kurt commented earlier about like the fact that we're waking up to the change, we've been incubating in this observational sort of vortex, as it were, going fuck, you know? So for some of us in this community, there might just be a few, I mean, I feel this. I can get it in my own beingness. I'm like, yeah. But sometimes like, it's like my early awakenings being like, I remember writing, 20 years ago this was, and just being on a train, writing, let go, 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 let go. And I'm this like 20-year-old chica having had this perspective shift or spiritual awakening or whatever, going, what does that mean? What's, because I was streaming all the time. That was part of my, like when I landed in the UK and I was just backpacking, I basically, like, God, this is going back, I had a CD man, like Walkman before MP3 and blah, 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 blah. Like I traveled without a phone or computer and just had my headphones and my journals. I would sit in cafes and park benches and just sit in parks and observe the world and just journal and travel. I was traveling as well, so it was quite fun and cool. But yeah, the journaling would take me, and it was all streaming of consciousness. And this was all part of the connection piece of having these spiritual awakenings. Like I assumed everybody did this, or everybody observed, or what have you. And all these years later, I'm like, whoa, they didn't. And now I still trace back to early insights going, this is an insight I've had for 20 years. I just 20 years ago didn't have a platform to share, nor did I think that was allowed, because I was still laden with my own shame, basically, or fear I inherited, basically. Megan, reprogramming truth, that's it. And it's not even like the reprogram has to be a struggle. It's ongoing, continuous via the paradigm shift. So once we're anchored in that vibration, it's happening to us naturally. That's right. Y2K, those were trigger points. Plus 9/11 trigger point. That was a huge trigger point in the collective ascension, basically. Although I gotta say, like, even saying that kind of stuff, I'm starting to delayer even more programming around even this idea of ascension, like the false light program and the trigger points. That's something that's only come in the last like week or two as I study and research for Unplug for Freedom is that I am now questioning things on another level, like how much freedom of thought do I really have? Like, how free am I? And I have to wait. I'm now at just a total blind precipice of now what? Because I have the love and I have all the compassion and empathy I could ever need or want or desire. And my life, like, everything is beautiful and my life is wonderful, but I'll never stop questioning this reality and my freedom in it, because that's my total choice, was like, this humanity deserves to be free. And this is part of it. The emancipation is that the reason our Unplug for Freedom stuff is so huge is that the TV has really programmed us in such a way, you know. And so emancipate yourself from mental slavery has to do with none but yourself can free your mind. None but yourself. Major shift in the world century, and I feel we're close to another big shift. We definitely are, Kurt. That's what 2020. Humanity deserves to be free. Hell's to the Yizza, Chris. You know why? Because I really genuinely believe, like, we're good and we got this, and, like, we're not just these greedy, lowly, like, flesh-eating monsters. We're, you know, that we're actually evolved, beautiful, cosmic beings. I'm like, that's true. And if people don't believe it, they can be programmed to believe it. If they can be programmed to be narcissistic assholes, then they can be programmed to be kind, generous, which is more akin to our natural, right? None of them can stop the time. That's right. Was that from that song? Is that where I was getting that from? Oh my goodness, my hair is just... Oh, Lord. And I gotta say, my natural impulse, or programmed impulse, is to want to dye it. I want to just, like, dye the hair, but I'm like, no, don't. I like the blonde, MJ, don't. And, like, the last 2 times I've said it, I've had good friends be like, don't do it yourself, you'll ruin your hair. I'm like, I know. Anyway, heaven and freedom. Okay, that way, yes. And that, you guys are now affirming, yes, this is the kind of train that I'm writing for Unplug for Freedom, is basically, without going into too much depth about the distortion and corruption of what's going on, but, like, mainly focus on pretty surface level stuff for Unplug for Freedom. Only because I'm like, I don't think it serves us to focus on what's happened, to focus on psychological warfare, to focus on, I think it's better to focus on the freedom, right? Exactly, like, focus on the freedom, focus on, like, the good feeling stuff, focus on the fun chats, focus on the fact that if we just lay down the burden and look at our own thoughts, we can basically lift the veil of deception and move forward with a new beginning and a fresh new start, basically. It's a choice. It's a choice. Also, one thing, okay, so I feel great in this chat as well. That's why I chat with you guys every day. No, we tried, and the children cry, let them know we tried. Yeah, and let children feel, you know, fully. So my battery is getting low, you guys, and weirdly, I feel like we've covered everything we need to cover within this chat around this reading. Totally, Megan, for sure. You guys energize me to no end. So essentially, I'm like, okay, there's some juicy messages possibly around laying the burden, deprogramming our mind, you know. I vibe with you all. Yeah. This is so exciting, you guys. I love you so much. When the new world begins. What was that, Timothy? We tried when the new world begins. Yeah. And we're really not far off here, right? So ultimately, I'm coming back to the reading. It's here now. It's in us. It's in us. I love all of you. So new beginning, and also it's these final veils being removed, I reckon, and us anchoring. Queen of Wands is shining bright over there. So I think all of us are representative of the Queen of Wands energy, that intrinsic, mystical, connected, There's a connection to the pyramids, definitely. So there's something about the reawakening of the cosmic and sacred divine. That's helping us to lay down the burden. That's helping us to have a fresh, clear start and a clear perspective as we maneuver through the debris of this devil tower energy coming down. It's almost like the tower energy is bringing down the corrupted aspect of shadow. You know what I mean by the corrupted aspect, as in that stuff that we feel powerless to, when actually we're reclaiming our power with the high priestess. And we're rising out. We're looking straight in the eye of the kind of deception, I would say. And we're going to cut it loose and start to move forward in our integrity with creative inspiration. Hey, Elle! Welcome back. We're just finishing up, actually. Mainly because my battery is dying. Once I hit into like 120 minutes, is that even a thing? An hour? Once I get over an hour, usually my internet or... MJ starts not being able to talk anymore. My battery gets low. Oh, wish me luck. I'm meant to go out dancing tonight, and I partly feel like I should probably bring my phone fully charged and do like a live share from the club. I'm hearing that weird song from that guy 50 Cent. Do you remember 50 Cent? He was a rapper in like the 80s or the 90s maybe? Or maybe it was even 2000s, but he did a song being like in the club, something about a birthday and like being in the club. But there was this line, even back in high school. So Andy P, he wears it to the, he wears sweatshirts, is that a thing? Yeah, 50 Cent. So you guys remember. And, oh, lots of love, Scott. But there was this line in his song. So obviously I'm like high school trying to be cool. And like, yeah, in the club, like this song, whatever. But then in this song by 50 Cent, I remember him saying something like, if you like it rough. Oh, I don't even remember. But it scared me. I think it was probably still like proper virginal at this point, as far as like not even done anything sexual, and then I'm listening to this song like being like, yay, 50 Cent, and then he's talking about being rough with women basically, and me, my innocence is just like, I don't want the big scary gangster rapper to be rough with me. I'm like, that's not what I do. But then I'm looking at all my peers being like, yeah, in the club. And I'm like, something's not right, you know, i.e. Programming. I'm like, let's all be programmed to be hoes and bitches, and then to let the scary, powerful men do what they will with our bodies. I'm like, oh wait, that's still the fucking mainstream media. I'm like, yeah, we just sell ourselves. No, it's not okay. No, it's not okay. That's hence all to love and unplug for freedom. I'm like, guys, save your minds. Don't become a slave to 50 Cent and the likes. I'm not blaming one individual. I'm just saying that bandwidth of musical exposure is another layer of our enslavement. Right. Like, they're not happy. I mean, but there again is the perfect example of the reflectional state of reality. That gangsta, like, is that, so, and it makes me sad, even, like, when I think about it or share about it, I'm like, but that was so sad, think of it, like, probably not, I don't know, but no, God, 50 Cent didn't start it, it was just all part of the growing, you know, the growing mainstream media agenda programming. I mean, but I'm thinking, but then those men don't have any respect for women, and like the women don't have respect for themselves, so it's not like they're just abusing each other in their bodies basically, and like everyone's being, you know, people still, anyway let us close it down there, because yeah, it's gross. Free your mind and did it. What is that, a song? Who is it by? I'm thinking someone like, free your mind and set it free, something like this. So that's what we're all gonna go do today. We're gonna go free our minds. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but yourself can free your mind. I don't know the words, but I will keep singing anyway. Won't you help me sing the song of freedom? It's all I ever have. Redemption song. I don't even know what words were correct or which were incorrect, but I love you guys. Oh, and then Divine Sight knew it. It's on Vogue. That song that I'm snipping around. Free your mind. That's on Vogue apparently. You guys, if you're curious, which I'm sure you are highly, highly curious what is spewing out of my verbal dictum today. Oh, Xavier Rudd is a bit of a ledge, isn't he? Redemption song, dance party. We're dancing. We're partying. I feel like it's tonight, but it's tonight for your mind. Don't be so shallow. Be colorblind and the rest will follow. Freedom. Anyway, all right, you guys. I love you. You saw him live. Ooh, Xavier Rudd. I might see him live one day. Maybe. So there. But I might not either. Like, I don't go out very much, so I don't know. I travel the world. Anyway, when I'm done this course, I might... Anyway, you guys, I'm gonna go now because I'm losing steam. And I can feel it in my body. Freedom tonight. Thank you for the reminder. It has been a pleasure. It's a joy. It's a joy to have you back to my site. Be safe. I'll be safe. Typically, I do my best. My underlying, so around the earlier insights or perspective shifts or whatever, when I was 20 years old, that was a mantra, affirmation that came into me and has stayed ever since. Like, wherever I go in the world, I'm never lost and I'm always safe. I'm never lost and I'm always safe. And I gotta say, the whole safety piece is taking on a whole new level. And I can feel how deeply on like next level my nervous system is healing by me being like, I'm safe and I actually trust my body. It's just radical, isn't it? God, who knew? What is life, honestly, though? Anywho, you guys, I love you loads. I'm sure I pulled this yesterday. Basically, haven't shuffled the deck. And my battery's gonna blaze. It's gonna blaze out of here. But I'm making love, hot vibration. That's another good card. Transformation, my lovers. So I know that we're all transforming the world. So, because we're transforming us, and we are the world, and we're the creators of the world. So if we're transforming the world. Just a lot of people don't realize it's happening. Some people haven't realized that they're the creators. So we're having just to start to gently create things for them and hope that they like it and want to come along to play. That's basically what's happening. Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's off to work we go. Do. Oh, okay. See, I did it yesterday where I'm like, okay, bye guys. 20 minutes later, I'm still rambling on, making some sense, but mainly just having like a fun little blah, blah, blue, blue, blee, blee. Okay, I'm actually going to go. My battery's for sure going to die out. Have a great day. Really nice to see long-standing viewers, new viewers, regular people, and I gotta say I'm pretty legit chuffed with myself that I can just like remove people who I don't feel are vibing on the same frequency. So what up, Lynn? How are you? Controlling my reality with hot love vibration. That's empowering the divine within us all. Amazing. I love you guys. I love you all. Speak soon, okay? Peace. Oh, have a happy Saturday.